Did you ever hear about that teenager? Painted a giant cock on the flat roof of his parents' big country house. Phallus, they called it. 60 foot. In white paint. He said he did it for this googly earth, so his friends could see it. From a satellite. Googly earth. You can zoom down and see your house from space. Made me think of googly eyes when I heard about it. Made me think of God with googly eyes looking down with googly, ugly eyes like a toy. Or if you were to make a picture and then put googly eyes on after so they rattle around and make it look all looby. You know that feeling when you're on a travelator at an airport. It's not just that you're going faster, moving past people, but the feeling you get, it feels right, doesn't it? It feels like this is the way it's supposed to be. These eyes look funny on God. When I think of it, makes him look like a pervert looking down at us. Not correct to say that, is it? But there you go, that's the way it sounded to me. The sky right now is looking ominous, wouldn't you say? But such a hollow word. What else? Brooding, foreboding, like an angry lesbian. They shouldn't happen here, of course. Sunsets. No place in our culture. Sunsets, go home. Spectacle is a foreigner. The currency of advertising and travel agents. Not the brace and bite that life's really about. Do they exist anymore? Agents of travel. Never really existed anyway, I say. Nothing real about them. From the fingernails to the soles. Only sat asking the computer screen the way most people do themselves all day, work and leisure. So I'm led to believe. So we have all become our own agents of travel. What capacity? To escape once in a while. Doesn't sound very fun to me, escaping. Bit desperate, really. Fleeing. Only to be dragged back by your own bloody choice. I remember hearing about someone who thought the moon was a pervert once. On account of his looming down. The moon is not a pervert, though. He's a rock. But showing your ass is called mooning, isn't it? Maybe he does like it. Maybe all rocks are perverts. The sky. All heavy oranges and pregnant pinks. Does this move you? The sky. Do you feel its weight pressing down on the land? All the history of the sun. Well, let me answer for you. Yes and no. Who has told you about this sun? Told you he exists? Was it the media? Bloody bastards. You read about it in a book, correct? What proof is there? Well, overrated, some might say. But there's another planet to do with arses, isn't there? Something to do with black holes, maybe. And all the films the sun appears in. Greatest actor of our time. Very convincing. That's what's happening outside now. The billowing mass of saccharine-stained sky. From what film? What movie? From what Hollywood bread and butter? The dawn of the end. Is that a film? Could be. So if this was the film, Sun versus Man, Dawn of the End, the question is, how should one prepare for the role? The way you think you should for a film. But let me give you some advice. Play the fruit machines. Final act, flashing lights, noise, continued expectation. Take all your money out and lose till the time comes. Become a gambler for death. End of the old worldie. What a privilege. If it was the real deal, of course. Isn't that what everyone wants? To be there at the end. Not to survive. That's the Hollywood bit. Aren't your eyes just itching to witness it? To be the generation chosen to succumb? What privilege again. I'm talking about the outside force, of course, the meteor, the exploding planet, the rambunctious aliens, not your global warming. That's a teenage way to go, all that. Part of me thinks it's a clumsy attempt to fast forward to the end a bit quicker. But this sun character I'm led to believe so much about, how much do we actually know about him? Nothing. That's how much. Told he's the source of all bloody life, but let's not ask too many questions. In fact, when we do get the initiative and resources to tread carefully out into the abyss, We go to the moon. The bloody moon. A lot we learnt from that. Can't go to the sun because of the distance, correct? What distance? When I see this sun, it looks no further away than this so-called moon. Why is one thought to be so much further? Because it's glowing. Can't make out the surface of it like the moon because it's on fire, correct? Well, someone needs to put it out, I say. Pretentious orb. Don't look directly at it. That's the behaviour of a diva. But who does it think it is? There are some people who believe it's a living thing, you know. A celestial being, conscious, and, well, that's enough, isn't it? So this sun is a conscious being. Pretentious orb. And he gave fish legs, and they walked out of the ocean, give or take. And we are the byproduct of this God's slow death. And we are looking the other way, staring into space. And this conscious being, for millions of years, has been screaming at us because we don't seem to understand that he is on fire. Well, here's the rub. You're looking at him. He is I, so to speak. And see, did you ask? The old believers were right all along. I am the centre of things and always have been. Picture any image on any surface, in any context over time, where I, the sun, am depicted with a face. Are you picturing it? Now consider it correct. But you knew it all along, didn't you? You had a feeling. I am not, however, the husband of the moon, as some have said, because the moon is just a rock, and why anyone should think otherwise is beyond me. A rock and a pervert. So I, the sun, am a conscious being blaring away. A local broadcaster beyond your abilities and behaving outside your best interests. But spare me the hope that seems to follow all that spiritual stuff around. Such a morbid trance. A puncture in my eyes, all it would be. Blunted minds all blurry like the hit off a legal high. And it's not my fault you are immobile, by the way. Let's get that straight. Gravity sucking at your bones. Believe me when I say I'm sorry you are trapped in your way. Under a rock together, none of you with even a tooth decent enough to bite yourselves free. If you want to really get into and under your position, you couldn't do much better than to undertake a bit of research of your own. Take a video camera. One of those big shoulder-mounted VHS ones, if they're still around. And go and ask the man in the street. Stop him and ask him. Manhandle him with your lens and ask him, do you feel an affinity with all the other particles of dust in the universe? Ask him how he feels about his wife. Record his answer and watch it back as it bounces off the walls and all around inside you. Your brains, your eyes, surfing on all that leftover disruption. Watch as his face, held hostage by my light, seeps out from the footage and through the conversation, out through the spectrum of colour, but also over time, subverting the one level playing field we all have and allowing this distortion to trickle down and enter a negotiation with yourself. Then ask him, have you ever experienced loss? You know, real loss. Real data loss. Nothing can prepare you. All those photos, all that footage. It's not the documentation of events that's unnerving. We have memories for all that. It's the thought of all that recorded time. Lost at sea. Sloshing up over and into all our tiny boats. Consider for a second the hoverfly, a creature more precise you'll never find, tilting and panning, then zoom. Built for observation is my point. Who can say they've never gone face to face with a hoverfly, held its gaze for a second or two before the inevitable darting departure, and not been left with the feeling, I have been observed? Oh, we, the wilfully watched. So you have a private audience, a spiritual umbilical, a one-to-one with the caretaker of lightning. Try to ignore the fact that for me, this is like you having a heart-to-heart with the bacteria living in your intestines. You want to know if any useful byproduct might come from your newly commercialized delving into space, correct? That I saw in the experience realm, that desperate psyche cinema. Well, I can tell you one thing of note that will reveal itself from this endeavor and impact upon all your lives in a truly meaningful way. Zero gravity pornography. Maybe not watertight, but lesser ideas have gone on to have greater careers. How better to illustrate such a curious and frustrated species than pornography's enigmatic flourishing in every corner of excess. This is just yet another corner waiting to be flourished. Correct? No! It will become the point of zero gravity. It will redefine old-fashioned regular gravity as primeval and cursed and urge people towards something they never knew. People will give limbs left and right to give birth in 0G. Marriages, deaths will all want to be undertaken without the weight of the world to bring them down. Zero gravity pornography. And therefore the representation of the weightless conception of life will drive us terrestrials headlong into a confused and spiritual urgency on which that elusive diva, the sun, pretentious O, will finally have to make comment. He's got a lot to answer for. Bloody sun-drenched, sun-blushed, bloody sun-kissed, sun-bloody ripened. All sounds pornographic already to me. He's slobbering all over us and doesn't even have the decency to come out with his intentions. Intentions. I'll tell you my intentions. I am a deep, rumbling, solar birdsong, and optimism is no friend of yours. The clouds are lined with shit. Those are my intentions. The light at the end of the tunnel is an oncoming train, and it's moving at a fair old lick. Dreams are your brain masturbating when you're asleep, and luck is the ghost of the dead idiot. Aspiration is a perspiring ass. Look to the future, and I'll show you a crumpled photo of today. When you wish upon a star, it's been a goner for 1,000,000 years, and it's still dying. Hope is useful as soap on a rope. Forward thinking takes you off the edge of the cliff. See a penny, pick it up, you'll catch a disease. There's no pot of gold because rainbows don't have ends. The dust is in the needle and the lens cap is on. Life is colder than a steel cage and gentle as hell, for I am the sun, raging on against that endless night since 001.